Have you heard?
Have you heard?
Have you heard? Martin University has made a quality education accessible, and now I can fast track and finish my degree in no time.
Applicable, so I can start earning and working in my career field while finishing my degree.
And affordable by lowering tuition costs as much as 45%.
So I can earn my degree debt-free.
Join us at the all-new Martin U. Don't wait. Register for spring classes now.
Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk Live with Martin U, the live podcast bringing much needed community conversations to the table. Let's Talk Live with Martin U is an exciting, reverent, and educational podcast that digs deep into current topics, community involvement, and stories of our alumni successes that only Martin University can deliver. I am Atia King, and joining me today is Senior Pastor Janae Pitts-Murdock. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
How are you on this beautiful Friday?
I am, as a member of our church says, I am alive, blessed, and grateful.
I know that's right. So you have been very busy this month, and I want everyone that's watching to know who you are before we dig deep into all the things that you have going on in December. So if you want to introduce yourself, let me know who you are, what you do, all that fun stuff.
Absolutely. I am Reverend Janae Pitts-Murdock, Senior Pastor at Light of the World Christian Church here in Indianapolis, which sits at the corner of Cold Spring Road and North Michigan Road. I have been the Senior Pastor at Light of the World for almost 2 years now, and God is doing some amazing things with us at Light of the World, and we've been doing some really exciting things throughout our community, particularly giving more emphasis and exposure to the needs of folks in our most vulnerable spaces during this COVID-19 pandemic. But I have enjoyed my time in Indianapolis. My husband and I have 2 boys. And so it's just good to be with you this morning.
It's great to be with you as well. So you said that you've been there for 2 years. Where were you prior to Light of the World?
Well, I relocated to Indianapolis from Fayetteville, Arkansas, where
Oh, wow.
my husband is faculty at the University of Arkansas. And prior to that, and so I served a church in Fayetteville, Arkansas. Before that, I served Mississippi Boulevard Christian Church in Memphis, Tennessee. And before that, I was in DC. It's hard. I think Indianapolis and Indiana is my 6th state. So I've been around. I've lived in Michigan, which is where I'm originally from. I'm originally from Detroit, West Side. So originally from Detroit, then moved to Ohio, DC, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Arkansas, and now Indiana.
Wow. So you are just like the melting pots of cities. You are very cultured.
I guess so. I mean, I've been very fortunate to have had a lot of amazing experiences. Before I was a pastor, my career was in public policy. So I started my professional career in the Pentagon in Washington, D.C. And from there, I accepted my call to ministry because I was assigned to the Pentagon during 9/11. So that was a very momentous time in my life that created kind of a life swerve and pointed me into the direction that I'm in now. So after the Pentagon, I went to seminary, began interning in churches, and ultimately landed here in Indianapolis at Light of the World.
Wow. I know everyone has a story as to their why getting into ministry, and that is certainly something that you don't hear every single day at all. So I commend you for being able to take those transferable skills and bring them on into the ministry and share your story. So I think that is something important that a lot of people don't talk about as much anymore or shine light on. So I think that is super amazing that you want to use your platform, and that's what inspired you, because everybody went different ways around that time. So I do commend you for that. So December, let's talk about what you've been up to outside of the church this month.
Well, at Light of the World, we strive to get outside of the four walls of our church building. Ministry doesn't just happen inside the church, ministry also happens outside the church. The goal is to let our lights shine in the world so that people outside of our four walls can experience the love, the light, the vitality that comes through relationship with Jesus Christ. And so the ways that we live out our relationship with God is by sharing our love and light in our community. And so, most recently, we've been hosting pop-up clinics throughout the Indianapolis community. We started with pop-up clinics at our church. We did 3 at Light of the World, and then we hosted a pop-up clinic at Martin University, and it was an amazing experience. So grateful for the leadership and the team at Martin U because we were able to provide COVID-19 boosters and free flu vaccinations to more than 200 folks when we were at Martin University. And Light of the World Christian Church provided $50 incentives to each person who received a COVID booster. And so a lot of the world invested above $10,000 in our Martin U experience because we believe that part of our job as Christians, part of our job as disciples of Jesus Christ is to support, help, nurture, and empower our communities. And so we invested $10,000, a little bit more than $10,000 in that experience to provide incentives for individuals to get their COVID-19 booster. And we're doing the same thing this coming weekend, hosting a pop-up clinic at the Faye Bacard Glick Neighborhood Community Center. And individuals can get their free flu vaccine as well as a free COVID-19 booster. And so that is provided for individuals ages 12 and up, the COVID-19 booster. The free flu vaccination is for anybody, I believe, ages 6 months and up. And so, folks who get the COVID-19 booster, if you are inside the first 300 people, you will receive a $50 incentive as well.
Nice. So some people I know, they were a little bit confused the first time around at Martin and they didn't know which shot was the one to receive the $50 incentive. So if you could just, clarify that one more time for anybody that is
Sure.
watching so they're not confused.
Absolutely. And you know what? We don't want people to be confused when they arrive. We want them to be empowered with information because our goal is to help people. Our intent is to bless people. The reason why we're bringing this pop up clinic into communities is because we want people to be helped and we want people to be blessed. And so it is not our intent, desire for people to walk away disappointed, frustrated, sad. It is not our intent or delight for anyone to walk away not having received what they expected to. And so I appreciate the question to offer clarification. So here's the clarifying information. All vaccines and boosters are free. The flu vaccination is free. The COVID-19 booster is free. You do not have to pay to receive the vaccine, the flu vaccine, or the COVID booster. The flu vaccine does not come with a $50 incentive. The flu vaccine is for individuals ages 6 months and up. Now, it is super important though that we encourage people to get their flu vaccine because the flu virus is tremendously contagious this year and it is having
Mhm.
severe effects on people. People are in the hospital with flu this year. So it is super important that people get their flu vaccine. We realize that people would love to get that incentive along with the flu vaccine, but unfortunately, the incentive is only for the COVID-19 booster. But that doesn't mean that you cannot still get the flu vaccine. It just does not come with the $50 incentive. Then there's the COVID-19 booster. Here's what's important to know about the COVID-19 booster. You must have had the full initial dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. It means that you either have already had 2 doses of the Pfizer, 2 doses of Moderna, or 1 dose of J&J. It is important that you come to the pop-up clinic already having received your initial doses of the COVID-19 booster. If you do not have the full initial dose of the COVID-19 vaccine, you cannot get the booster. When you receive the COVID-19 booster, you will also receive a $50 incentive in the form of a gift card. And that is for the first 300 people who receive the COVID-19 booster.
Okay, that's good information to know. What you
Yes.
say?
I said, I hope that was clear for everybody.
Yes, also, do people need to bring their verification of their COVID vaccination?
No, you do not need to bring your vaccination card or verification of your previous vaccines. The IU Health team will be able to access the information that they need, and they will also give you a new vaccine card if you don't bring your existing card with you. But it is super important that people know the booster doesn't work if you have not had your initial doses. And so it's important that you get your full initial dose. Now, here's what, you know, I think some people in our community may try to shirk the system. And that is to say, Light of the World has been doing pop-up clinics all across the community, and this will not be the last one. So if you don't have your full initial dose of your COVID-19 vaccine, that's okay. Contact your health professional, get your initial dose, and then come to our next pop-up clinic. We'll be doing more in January of next year. And we'll still be providing incentives, but the health benefit and the health risks are different when you have had your full initial dose. So that is super important for people to know.
Nice. And I know some people in the community, they may question the motive behind the incentives or why this one and not that one. And if you just wanted to clarify, the purpose behind the incentive for the community so it doesn't shy them away, because I know there's so many conspiracy theories and
Right,
thoughts and
right,
why do y'all want to
right.
pay us to do it? So if you could clarify that, I know that could probably help a
And
lot of
I
people.
thank you for that question. So, Light of the World has been doing COVID pop-up clinics for 2 years since the COVID vaccine became available. So we hosted our first pop-up clinic in April of 2021 when the J&J vaccine was out. And so we hosted our first vaccine clinic. Then we vaccinated about 400 folks. Then we hosted about 6 more during the course of that year in 2021. Now in 22, we're doing another round of pop-up clinics. We provided incentives in our pop-up clinics then. We're providing incentives now during this current round. We have not always done flu vaccinations. Flu vaccinations are an add-on for us.
Mhm.
Our central interest is with the COVID vaccine. And why are we providing incentives? Because we have resources and because we want to help people. Folks, inflation is on the rise. It's holiday time. Unemployment is real. And so our interest in Light of the World is to share the resources we have with the people who need them most. There are no other ulterior motives. We want people to be well and we want people to be blessed. Conspiracy theorists and conspiracy theories will always find ways to poke holes or to demonize an effort, a well-meaning effort. And so conspiracy theorists and those who believe that there are ulterior motives, they have their place. It is not here at Light of the World Christian Church, and it is not related at all to the work that we do. We are providing incentives because we have the resources to do so. We're providing incentives because people need them. We're providing incentives because we need our communities to be well. Conspiracy theorists are going to cause the decline of our communities. People are dying, households are being fractured because of
Mm.
these deadly viruses that are on the rise and on the move in our communities. And the reality is, people who are most vulnerable in our communities are not going to the doctor. They're not getting the health care that they need. And so when viruses that are virulent, like the flu, like COVID-19, are in our communities, our folks are the ones who get hit the hardest, right? And so
Mhm.
ignorance and conspiracy theories are our biggest impediment and our biggest risk. And so I want to say to those folks who are listening right now, who need to live and who need to thrive, if you do not have a flu vaccination, if you do not have your COVID-19 booster, you cannot afford to listen to conspiracy theories. If you want to live, if you want to have a flourishing life, get your flu
Mhm.
vaccination, get your COVID-19 booster so you can survive these deadly viruses out here today.
Perfectly said.
Yes, listen, if you don't want the incentive because you think that somehow it is an ulterior motive, you can donate it to someone else.
How about that? I love it. I love it. Another question about the pop up. What drew you off to partner with IU Health?
Well, IU Health is an important health partner in the Indianapolis community, in our Marion County community. And so IU Health had volunteers who were available to administer the vaccinations. IU Health also had access to the vaccines in order to provide it at this quantity. And
Mhm.
IU Health had a willingness to partner. And so all of those things made IU Health the perfect partner for this initiative. Um, our healthcare industry, just like every other industry, has been impacted by the COVID-19 virus. There is a shortage of there's a shortage of staff. And so it is not easy to come by volunteers who are willing to help, healthcare volunteers who are willing to volunteer their time on top of all the extra hours they're already pulling and on their regular job. And so we are so very grateful that IU Health had staff and personnel who were willing to volunteer their time to do these pop-up clinics at the quantity that we need, that the quantity that we have desired. Because at all of our pop-up clinics, our target has been 200, 300 people. And so we really need a considerable number of volunteers to be on site to do that. At the same time, IU Health has their own goals for connecting with and supporting the healthcare needs of people in vulnerable communities. And so they have their own emphases around health, heart, and or heart health care and chronic heart issues, indicators for um, um, high risk areas. And so since IU has kind of interests that intersect with ours, it made them a good partner for this effort.
Love it. I love it. What else is your church doing within the community that you would like for people to know about outside of the health care, assistance and things like that? What else are you guys doing?
Light of the World is doing tons of stuff. So pop-up clinics right now are our passion area. It is a new passion area that has developed since the COVID-19 pandemic has hit our communities. But Light of the World has been doing community involvement, community connections for decades. We also have an annual Christmas outreach where we bring hundreds of families to our church to provide them a better Christmas. And so we provide resources for families to have a good holiday with food, with clothes, with toys, with financial resources in order to supplement and assist in their areas of need. We also have a food pantry where every week we are providing members in our community healthy fruits and vegetables and healthy food options to help curb the food insufficiency that we have in our communities. We also run an emergency assistance program for people who are facing evictions, homelessness, disconnection of utilities. And so Light of the World Christian Church is doing stuff not just inside but outside. We also have a connections program with elderly in our community where we reach out and have conversations with the elderly, people who are at risk of social isolation, to help minimize the likelihood of their need for healthcare emergencies. And so Light of the World is out here doing it. So we're doing the COVID-19 pop-up clinics. We're doing outreach to hundreds of families during the holiday season. We're doing emergency assistance for people facing evictions and disconnection of utilities. We're providing food support for people experiencing food insufficiency. And so we're out here just trying to do our very best to be a partner with the community so people will know, listen, when you have a relationship with God, not only does it transform who you are, but it empowers us to transform the world.
I love it. I love it. So I thank you so much for joining me today on Let's Talk Live with Martin Yu. Is there anything else you would like to share with the viewers, the listeners? It could be about tomorrow. It could just be about joining and being a member. Anything you'd like to share with people?
Thank you. Two things I want to say. If you need a free flu vaccination, come to the Faye Bacard Glick Neighborhood Center on Saturday, December 17th, between 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. If you need a free COVID-19 booster, come to the Faye Bacard Glick Neighborhood Center on Saturday, December 17th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. We will be there from 11 to 3 providing these free resources. And if you do not have a church home and you want to be a part of a growing, thriving, vital, and vibrant community, we invite you to come visit us at Light of the World Christian Church. I would love to see you. Light of the World would love to welcome you. We're at the corner of North Michigan Road and Cold Spring Road, 4646 North Michigan Road. And Tia, you got to drop by and see us too sometime.
I will. I think I will. So I thank you so much for joining us and just sharing your expertise and your knowledge and what you want to do for the community and what you're currently doing for the community. I think it's very inspiring, and we need more people like you within our own cities and that we can look to look like us. So I do appreciate that and everything that you guys are doing. And please make sure you guys get out there if you have not gotten your booster shots or your vaccinations. And even if you don't want this, and if you can donate it or just, keep yourself healthy so we can keep everybody else around us safe and healthy as well. That is all the time that I have for you guys. I'm your guest host, Antia King, and I'll see you same place, same time next week on Let's Talk Live with Martin Yu. Bye.
I was a little fearful when I started, but my goal was to become an attorney. I want to be that beacon of light to help them out of situations that they find themselves in and cannot afford an attorney.
With Martin being that one hidden jewel in the city, you drive past it every day, I stopped, and that chance turned into reality.
It will allow you to live out the dreams that you may not have even known were there.